I'm going to hope that this is working. Turning the volume up now. Hello, hello, hello. Alright, disclaimer 1. If you hear a loud noise, there's a high chance that it is my heater, because it is loud and it is very cold outside. Disclaimer number 2. We're finally doing a series on NBA 2K25. I've been delaying it. I've been questioning it. This week I premiered my UFC 5 series, and I was like, I don't know what we're going to do. But, I have some interest on doing something on NBA 2K25, which you see in front of yourself right now. Now, I will say, this is not a guaranteed weekly series. This might be a bi-weekly series. This might be a monthly series. Who really knows? And disclaimer number 3, this one goes out to all of you, but I'm going to highlight Nets fans. You may love this series, or you may hate this series. The hate part comes from me not really being overly committed to the guys that are on your team right now. But you should love me because I'm trying to bring a championship back to Brooklyn. Why did I choose the Nets? Because I'm trying to assemble a great team. Like I said, at this moment, not really that committed to everybody. Historically, they've had great jerseys, which does play a factor into my choosing. The other team I was thinking about was the Kings, but I feel that the Kings, since firing Mike Brown, have turned their season around a little bit, where the Nets haven't. Now, back to the jersey part. I plan for the rest of this season using the jerseys that are here, and maybe in the offseason we do a bit of a rebrand. I personally like the red, white, and blue jerseys more, but who knows? We'll wait and see, but we'll wait and see what happens there with the jersey part. There's also jersey puns. So, I will say this. There is a high chance that this gets a bit unrealistic, which is opposite of my 2K24 series. Because with that, I was the Grizzlies. I made a big trade with the Nets, so there's a connection here. I made a trade to get Nick Claxton on the Grizzlies, and John Morant stayed, and we ended up making the playoffs and going to the finals, and winning the finals, which is the opposite of what happened in real life. So again, we got another case of we're going to be the opposite of what is happening in real life. We are trying right now to be a good team, which when you see that record, 15-28, kind of benefits me that they did good at the beginning of the year, but obviously they're trying to go the opposite right now. So what I'm saying, I'm trying not to tank. Now, if this was real life, everything that I would do would change a little bit. I would tank. I would go for the high draft pick. And hell, I would keep our draft picks. But because this is a video game and this is 2K, I don't really trust the created players on 2K, the created draft classes. Whoever puts those together, you do a good job. But you have screwed me over several times. There's one instance in particular I'm thinking about, which I'll detail later because we got to get into doing some actual things in this video. But point being, I'm trying to create a very good team right now, and there's a high chance that everybody that is on this team right now gets traded. Not guaranteed, but time will tell. Now, I'll also say, when I hit RB twice and go to that trade block, you'll see the team that I'm trying to assemble. But the first thing that we need to do is simulate, because we have players injured. And that's the other thing. In my series last year, I had the injuries off. For the time being, unless it gets really bad, for the time being, I'm going to leave them on. So, I'm going to simulate so that everybody's healthy and trades can be made for us. So, I did want to play that Knicks game, but like I said, injuries. And it's also funny that they gave us the win over the Thunder, which I don't think that game obviously. Did that happen? I don't even know what today's date is. I know I'm filming this Sunday night. So we got still one more person injured, I believe, unless they come back here. Please come back, Bogdanovich. Thank you. All right. I will say this. In real life, there's probably a chance that Bogdanovich is either like a filler in a big trade, or he probably just gets bought out. That's kind of my prediction for that. So Terrence Mann got traded for Javon Carter, and Kelly Olynyk got traded for Tim Hardaway Jr. That one, neither of those really make. I'm trying to make sense of both. Like I said, this is 2K. This is a video game. Also, Jared McCain, I just saw was playing, which I'll allow it. 2K needs to get their stuff together. I'm trying to make sense of this Terrence Mann trade. I don't really think that one made sense. Regardless, the team I'm trying to assemble, and the player in particular I'm trying to build around. And if you see this man in the thumbnail of the video, that means I did a good job, or I'm just lying to y'all. Time will tell. I want Zion. I feel that it is going to be a very big test because A, of the injury history, and B, it's just so intriguing. And I just feel that Zion, we never get to talk about the basketball player Zion. We get to talk about everything else with Zion. Now, the one thing that concerns me, and this is just me overly thinking, which I do tend to do sometimes, I feel we would get busted by the Cavs. Granted, they're the number one team in the East right now, but Zion having to go against Jared Allen and Mobley, and just even Mobley by himself, does have me a bit concerned. So I'm going to try to get somebody to back him up and help him out. And that guy, I feel, is Bam Adebayo. Preferably with my centers, I want us to have a rim protecting one and one that is great defensively, and Bam is one of those guys. Now, Bam hasn't had the best season this year. Maybe that helps us in being able to trade for him and whatnot. Jaden McDaniels, like I said, I'm valuing defense, and when I look at the small forwards, I feel that outside of like OG Anunoby and Dort, he's like up there defensively. Devin Vassell as well, I would prefer that one of my point guard or shooting guard is very good defensively, and point guard is kind of a slim margin for that, and Vassell is very good and is great offensively. He did well against my Grizzlies the past 2 games. So I'm going to target Vassell. And Malcolm Brogdon. I want to bring Malcolm Brogdon back to the Brogdon of past because it feels that he gets very forgotten about. Last year he's in Portland and didn't really get a chance to do anything. Washington is kind of the Eastern Conference version of Portland a little bit, and he's not really getting a chance to do anything. And with the Celtics, he was a sixth man and did well until the lights were bright in the playoffs and he was hurt, and they immediately like, no, you can go, and whatnot. So I will admit, point guard or center is the most stacked position in the league right now. My intentions for targeting Brogdon and not one of the other 30-point guards I'm trying to highlight right now is I just very much want somebody to get the ball to these guys, and I feel Brogdon can do that. And if I need to have him hit a shot or make some buckets, I trust Brogdon in that. Is he the end-all, be-all? No. To be fair, none of these guys really are. If I get Zion and Bam, probably. But this is very much a rough draft. This is the first team that I'm really constructing together, and like this is what came to mind. Is this the ultimate team I would build in real life? Probably not, but because it's 2K and the situation that we're in, this is the first thing that came to mind. So, I know for certain I could trade for Jaden McDaniels. Devin Vassell, I can as well. Bam will be difficult. Now, a little bit of a behind the curtain things. I've did a rough draft of the series 2 or 3 times, and the last time that I did it, I was able to trade for Zion. Granted, I don't really remember what I gave up entirely, but I wasn't able to trade for Brogdon because I gave up everything else to get the other guys on the team. So that's why. So I think the main thing we need to do, and I'm trying to save this. I really want to play the Heat, mainly because they have the Vice jerseys back. Thank you, Miami, for doing that, because I love those jerseys. So I'm trying to wait and not have to simulate. I want to play this one. I want this to be our first game against the Heat. And especially if I have Bam on our team, it would make sense. Now, again, granted, are any of those guys getting traded in real life? Probably not. But like I said, it's a video game. So I'm going to have to specify that a lot, I feel. And I won't lie. At the end of the season, in the offseason, I'm going to try to bring back Melton. He played for the Grizzlies. I really like Melton, so I will try to bring him back. But that's a ways away from now. So we're going to try this. Looking at the roster, what I think I need to do is I'm going to propose a very ludicrous trade. Ludicrous. I also am going to try my best to give like reasoning and rationale for the things that I do, mainly for our team, because for their team, if they're accepting it, they're accepting it. It's that type of situation. But I think for Zion, put him right here. Ben Simmons, because I believe they make almost the same, very close to the same amount of money. The fact that Ben has 3 stars does help us out. How? I don't really know. I did move him back to power forward. I will admit that. For the case of the Pelicans, I know that I'm going to have to involve something else. So the fact that they're getting somebody that's off of contract at the end of this year might be good, might be bad, might try to bring him back. I don't really know what they're trying to do, to be honest. I just think the Pelicans, I don't know what the hell they're trying to do. I think they're going to try to do what the Grizzlies did last year, where the injuries just really piled up and screwed everything up. But at least with the Grizzlies, they knew who to keep. The Pelicans, they got an expiring Ingram. Zion is the constant problem there. DeJounte is just like, you just got here. I don't really know if you help us or not. They just don't know who is their guys to stay. So, I will say this. I'm not trading all of our picks. But my main goal is to keep at least a pick a year, which as of right now, we don't have one for 2026, so we need to get one there. But I'm not trying to trade all of our picks, and I prefer to keep ours this year just in case everything goes to crap. I can at least kind of bank on it. So I will say I'm willing to trade this Knicks pick, and I'm willing to trade this Bucks pick in 2 seconds. Now I know this is probably not going to be enough, but we'll see what they say. Okay. I'm keeping this second because it's at least got a star value. This might be a high value pick down the line, but let's see what they say to this. Okay. If I give up this second that I just said I didn't want to give up, and one more second. Okay. The thumbnail's coming true because Zion is on this team. We gave up 3 firsts, which the Knicks and the Bucks won. The Knicks one, I don't even know where that Bucks pick came from, to be honest. The Knicks one is obviously from the McHale trade. I don't know. I would imagine the McHale trade. The 2028 pick swap, I'll give y'all a spoiler. We're probably not going to be here in 2028, so I'm not. That's why those later picks, I'm not going to be here. So, I don't know what the Pelicans' direction is going to be after that, but we will wait and see. Now, I will say this. I've already blanked on what I was about to say. If I'm able to trade for Bam, I will swap to the Miami Heat and trade Jimmy. Because there's no rhyme or reason why they would trade Bam and not Jimmy. And hell, by the time this gets uploaded, Jimmy might get traded. Ha ha ha. But I've been, anytime I do get a notification on my phone, I'm like, please let it be a Jimmy trade. And I just know if it's at the top of the hour or something, it's just an automatic tweet for something else. So, I think the difficult part here is that what I would give up to get Bam, or first of all, here's what we're going to do. We're going to see if I go to Bam right now. What would they say? Would it be Zion? Yes. No. Yes. What makes this difficult is because this is what I gave up to get for Vassell. So what I need to do, and again, there's no real reason for the Spurs to give up Vassell. I will admit that it's a bit head ass, but that's kind of the guy I'm cherishing at the moment. I will admit that. If I do this, it's taking a while. I don't really want that, call it. Okay. I won't lie to y'all. I did forget about Bogdanovich, but I feel that I did forget about Bogdanovich. I will admit that. The sale we will wait on. Now, this next trade that I'm about to propose for us is going to be a fleece. For this other team, I don't know why the hell they would do it. But I do want Jaden McDaniels. In case we don't get Bam, I'm willing to pair Naz Reid with Zion. And I'm going to ask for it. I'm asking for Dante. In real life, there's no way in hell that this trade would happen. But if I go ahead and do this trade now, it makes the other ones. This makes it the backup plan. Because I'm willing to have two. Look, because Reed and DiVincenzo, as of right now, I plan to be on my bench. But if I'm not able to complete a Bam trade or a Vassell trade, I'm willing to start either of those two. So, I have typically, when I did that rough draft, gave up Cam Johnson. That way, the Timberwolves did get a good player out of it. But if I deadass give them Bogdanovich, the other guy I gave up was Daron Sharp, which my rationale for that was always he's an expiring and Reed's an expiring. Look how overall they're very close. And they did give Rudy all that money. Who was the other guy I normally gave? It was normally Keon Johnson. Now, if I do this, let's see what they ask for. Okay. They want Cam Johnson. So I could back out of this and then just swap Bogdanovich for Cam Johnson, which is, again, like I said, the trade that I've been doing because it makes more sense for the Wolves. But what also makes sense for the Wolves is if they could get a pick, which I think I want to offer them 2 seconds. Not Zion. I a lot. Zion and Ant together would be a great duo. Oh, they're asking for Zite. I actually wanted to keep Zaire. Oh, see, look, they was trying to finesse. They're trying to get that first and not to let me know. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all almost got me. If I give up Jalen Wilson, who's a slightly higher overall, they're probably in another second. Let's see what they say. I don't remember giving up all of our seconds this year, but I guess I did. Okay, like I said. I just don't know. The reason I'm trying to give up Bogdanovich now and not later is I don't know what the hell I can get for Bogdanovich. So, for the case of the Wolves, they're getting a better offensive player to help Ant out this year and in the future. I would imagine they would keep him for the future. Defense, you'd prefer McDaniels. Offense, you'd prefer Jaden McDaniels. But Cam Johnson's not an ass defender, so there's that. Daron Sharp, get on a slightly cheaper deal than Naz Reid. DiVincenzo, I can't really defend that one. But if I did go to their team intel, they are offering DiVincenzo up for trade. So, can't even argue it. So, I do this. They still want Bogdanovich and would give up Nikhil. I'm willing to give up my seconds. Ooh. All right. I'm going to give up Jalen Wilson, who is a better player than Keon Johnson. They still want Bogdanovich. I want to keep Bogdanovich right now because of his money. Is this enough for me to give up a first? That is a question I'd have to ask. I feel yes. You know what? Is it? I'm just looking at the 84 overall. That's what I'm kind of trying. Like, overall wise, they're like so close. Where's my calculator? If I add all these up, Cam Johnson's at 84. Daron's a 76. Jalen Wilson's a 75. I divide that by 3. That's a 78. 77 plus 80 plus 80 divided by 3. It's a 79. All right. I'm going to be generous and offer one first they reject, I'll offer a second. They reject. We're moving on because I don't remember how I was able to do this trade in the past and not now. I'm going to hope the Knicks are good this year. Like I said, I ain't going to be here by the time we get to that 2029 season. I ain't going to. I'm more than likely not going to be doing this. Okay. They want a second and are giving us. All right. I feel that this is a trick. Yeah, because they wanted 2 seconds. Okay. Because I don't want to like risk accepting the trade and then I gave up first as well. Even though in the grand scheme of things that didn't matter. So I screwed us over there. All right, let me back out of this and then hope that they just offer what they just did again. And then boom, bam, we're done with it. All right, boom, bam, we're done with it. We got some help around Zion. Now, for the Wolves, I'm going to put Nikhil's backup position as a point guard because that is what their kind of like weak spot is right now. So right now you'd be Conley, Ant, Cam Johnson, Randall, Gobert. And they did extend Randall, which in real life I don't see that happening. And they did extend Gobert, which in real life shouldn't have happened. But, you know, I don't run things for Minnesota. I kind of run things for Minnesota because I just did that big trade. Now, we still have Claxton, and we still have Cam Thomas, and we still have D'Lo, who, if you want me to be honest, and I know this sounds insane, I'd like to keep for this year. I loved Brooklyn Nets OG D'Lo. This version is what's a good comparison? Ooh, what is it? There's a lot of wrestling comparisons I can make to that. The first one that came to mind is like Road Warriors, and like I love this is a terrible. I'm trying to think of like. It's like D'Lo Brown in like '98. Cool as hell. Was in the company for such a long time. Then he was gone. Had a good run in TNA. Then he came back to WWE again. Completely forgettable. So, D'Angelo Russell at this moment is D'Lo Brown. So, is there anything from Washington? All right. Do we go for Bam or do we go for Brogdon? Because I won't lie to you. I would much rather. So, let's think this through. If I go for Vassell, if I don't have to give up Claxton and I'm just giving up Cam Thomas and then I give up Claxton and other pieces to get Bam and then we give up Bogdanovich and a pick to get Brogdon, I won't lie to you, I might help Washington out and release. No, I'm not that concerned. So if I go to Vassell, what do I have to give up right now? See? Okay. The good thing here's the thing. Claxton, or I don't know why I just said Claxton. Cam Thomas and Vassell are very similar. The main difference is 1 year in age, 2 overall spots, half of a star. But the thing is, like, Cam Thomas is going to have to get paid. And to be honest, if the Spurs really wanted Cam Thomas, they would give up a lot less and just pay him and keep Vassell. But because I want Vassell and I see him in my vicinity, I'm going to try to get Vassell. So, and then I could keep Claxton and give up somebody else to potentially get Bam. Brogdon will be an issue. I can already see Brogdon slightly being an issue. But I feel that as well, the Spurs would rather keep Chris Paul. So let's figure this out. So we gave up our, how much do I need? Our 10 mil. So money-wise, I think that's why Bogdanovich has to be involved. See, here's the thing. I don't really want to take Chris Paul away from the Spurs. If I did, I'm not keeping Chris Paul. And they don't really even need Bogdanovich. That's the other thing. So if I actually And this might hurt me a little bit more than them. So if I gave them Bogdanovich and they gave me Harrison, that was our largest trade exception, right? Yeah. So I could actually like really hurt myself a little bit more and take Zach Collins. I can't even take Zach Collins. That's hilarious. Who the hell? They've got to have somebody. Nope, that's the last person. So Chris Paul. Do I even need? If I have Chris Paul in this, is the trade exception not even involved? All right, Chris Paul. Here's the thing. I really don't know what the hell I could get for Chris Paul. That's the that's the main thing there. Am I gonna try to like finesse the system and do a 3-team trade? Let's see if we can do it. I feel Chris Paul would want to go to the Lakers. The Lakers have Jared Vanderbilt now. So I give him to the Spurs, give him to the Lakers. If I propose this, what does everybody say? The Spurs like it, the Lakers don't. I ain't giving up no first to get. You know what? Do I need? First of all, the Spurs are getting the 3 best players at. Are they? Overall wise, they are getting the best players. I feel like I'm giving the Lakers a pick, and they're getting a guy they would like on their team for a guy that has not played for them in a minute. I feel like I'm kind of getting finessed. But I'm so like enticed to have an actual freaking 3-team trade happen. I also need to start keeping these picks because of Bam. I ain't gonna lie, I also forgot that we did get a pick. We got a pick back. That'll probably be in the Bam. I think these 2 picks will be in the Bam trade. I'm keeping ours. So we have 3 first in 2027. I ain't gonna lie, the Lakers are low key finessing. But I'm so enticed to actually have a 3-team trade happen. You know what, Lakers? Screw yourself. I tried to help y'all out. I actually tried to help y'all out. What other team would like Chris Paul? I ain't gonna lie. Over here, Minnesota, I actually kind of helping y'all out right now. It did not help that the first freaking contract I saw was freaking Dillingham, though. So how do I get this money to work? So Mike would be going to the Spurs. Chris Paul would be going to Minnesota. I'm getting an extra player back that could be tradable. So this actually kind of does help. I understand that. I understand y'all liking Mike Conley. Who doesn't like Mike Conley? Who doesn't like Mike Conley? That's a legitimate question. But y'all ain't getting no first out of this. I'll tell y'all that now. I lied. I lied. I lied. This is the most y'all getting, though. Bro, are you freaking serious? Nobody wants Chris Paul. It's a bit hilarious. It's a bit sad, actually. Any other team need a point guard that would play Chris Paul? Because I feel that was a legitimate team. If I did this, give it up. I'm gonna hope Christian Wood's healthy. Because if that's the case, all right, Christian Wood's not making it. Who's this? Gabe Vincent. And I'm taking timeout. I want to see what the hell this. I feel like the Spurs would say no. We like. All right. So now y'all don't value Gabe Vincent as much as Chris Paul. Stop lying to me. Stop lying to me. I'm one. Look, if I say this, say boom. Now, if I give up 2 seconds to the Lakers and they say no, I'm coming after them every time we play. You got to be shitting me. Y'all value Gabe Vincent that much that you don't want Chris Paul, who look as a 10 overall difference. 10, 10. The fact that Chris Paul's also one overall higher than Devin Vassell kind of makes me want to just do the original trade. So I tried to do a 3-team trade. It ain't work. I went to the wrong player. Hilarious. That's actually hilarious. Gabe Vincent over Chris Paul. If it was freaking 2023, I could understand that maybe. Not even. I'm heated. I'm very upset with that. Almost dropped my phone. Hands are sweaty. Bro, Porzingis would be nice, but I don't think it'd be a good idea to have Porzingis and Zion on the same team. So, I'm going to avoid that. This is taking a lot longer than I anticipated, but this happens with me anytime I try to do a rebuild. I get lost in the shuffle and translation very easily. Like I said, I was willing to accept. So we're gonna do this just because I want it already done already, and I don't think Chris Paul is as untradeable as they just try to make him seem. But I'm getting the guy that I want, who's on contract already, or Cam Thomas. I know that we can match whatever and whatnot, but I value Vassell's defense, so that's why I mainly valued him more than Cam Thomas. In the net and the Spurs, they're getting somebody back. They're also getting Bogdanovich, who probably could have benefited in a better role somewhere else, but we needed the money. Now, with Chris, we're back to this situation. I want to see what his value is right now, because if it's as low as they're making it out to be, I'm actually be a bit salty. Bro, like, would they do this? I don't think so. I really don't. Look at that. How the tables have turned. I'm not helping y'all out. Y'all could have legitimately just had that done 5 minutes ago, and we could have avoided a lot of bull crap. I'm going to keep Chris Paul in case of need for a Malcolm Brogdon trade. Okay, so we can do this, and I think we're giving up a player. I don't know what player exception was. All right, 22. Yeah, we'd probably be giving up this player exception. Which I will say, going to the Heat. How much is Bam? Bam is 34. Where Claxton, I believe, is like 28. I'm glad that it's 28. I thought that it was a lot higher. So I'm not stressing over that player exception as much. If I do this, who again, Chris Paul's at 83. Now I just realized star value is probably due to age and not. But granted, Chris Paul, like a 10 overall difference is different than a 2 overall difference. If I did this, they're gonna. All right, y'all don't value him. We just went through the song and dance with the Lakers. This is the guy I want. If I, worst case scenario, have to keep Chris Paul, I will. But I already saw that he has value. Brogdon is the guy I want. You know what? Because of that, and I'm not willing. Here's the thing. And this is why I'm trying to do this Bam trade now. If I've got all these contracts under the roster right now, I'm not trying to mess with trading for somebody and screwing up my free agency as well. So that's why I'm trying to push for this Bam trade now because I don't want to have to wait till free agency. I want it to be fill in the holes, and whoever's a free agent we got the money for, we bring in. So I know that Brogdon is going to be a free agent. Chris Paul, not only it is going to be a free agent, he could retire. So I was talking to myself into keeping Chris Paul, and then I've just now talked myself out of it. But I will do you a favor, Chris Paul. I will release you. I will switch to the Wizards and release you, and you can sign where you want to. Or you could just stay here because I ain't giving no first for Malcolm Brogdon. I feel that Brogdon can be attainable in the offseason. This is also a good thing with having D'Angelo Russell, is I feel okay with our point guard rotation right now. That being said, I ain't giving up. Let's get this Bam trade done, and then we'll come back to Brogdon, who, like I said, I was able previously. I got Zion, I got Jaden McDaniels, and I got Vassell. Bam wasn't able to, but I gave up Claxton initially to get Vassell. With having Claxton, I feel that Bam is going to be more attainable. So let's go ahead and try to get that done. So going to Miami, who is our next matchup. Put Bam there. Boom. We got Claxton here. Boom. I ain't gonna lie. Trade. Here's the thing. I wouldn't mind keeping Duncan. We're only giving up one first, which I will admit I would prefer to choose the first. We got some thinking to do. We got some thinking to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can I give up all these seconds? This would be hilarious. They accepted this. I don't think that they would, but it doesn't hurt to try because I already know what they're willing to do. Okay, thank you. All right, all right, all right, all right. I know I was playing around. I was playing around. Detroit lottery protected. So that means that, first of all, Detroit, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know which one of these picks is more valuable. This is the one they wanted. I feel they're very similar. Very, very similar. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by its toe. If it hollers, let it go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by its toe. If it hollers, let it go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. It's telling me to give up the Detroit pick. I'm going to be generous. Give up the Detroit pick. They want Maxwell Lewis. They're giving us Josh Richardson. Bam. It's now on the Heat, which is hilarious. Because I don't know. I could still get Brogdon. I could give up Duncan to give up Brogdon and then move DiVincenzo. Because I wanted DiVincenzo to be our backup shooting guard. I don't really trust DiVincenzo as our starting and or backup point guard. I do trust him as our backup shooting guard, though. So I'm going to look at Duncan's value. Also, we got so many picks still. This is what is good. Should we just trade? This is going to be the same song and dance again, I already know. Here's the thing. I wouldn't mind keeping Duncan on the team because I know that I could hit three-pointers with him or DiVincenzo and a lot of these other players I can't. I'm also going to trick the system a little bit, obviously. Oh, he at 80 now. He in 80 now. We might not even have to give up any picks. To be fair, we're going to have to move Brogdon to point guard. All right, I ain't giving up a first, but I will give up these seconds. Okay. I probably didn't even have to give up that many, but because we're moving Duncan right back to shooting guard, I will give up those seconds. And again, we got enough stuff to freaking help us out. So, I'm trying to see their team. Jordan Poole, Koulibaly, Balil Koulibaly. They still got Valanciunas and so they got stuff to trade there. All right. Now, I did say we traded for Bam that we would trade Jimmy. Now, where the hell we're trading him to, we will have to wait 1.5 to 2 weeks, which is hilarious. Could I time out. Let's just we're lying. We're lying. Vitals. If y'all want to hear me talk about the Jimmy Butler situation, I did make a full video about it. And what's funny is that I did trade Jimmy Butler to the Grizzlies in my spare free time. And a week in, he was injured for 2 weeks. I feel this trade benefits the Heat more than the one I initially did, but I will change some things up about it. Bro, I won't lie to y'all. If they didn't have Claxton, I would have actually done this. Because Kevin Love going back to Minnesota, hilarious. I tried to help them out and give them Chris Paul. They didn't want him and all that. And Jimmy going back to Minnesota. But I keep forgetting that Miami now has Claxton, so they don't need Gobert. But I did think about it. So we're going to go back to this Rockets offer. Because anytime I've personally predicted or talked about a Jimmy trade, I think that Houston makes the most sense. And I've kind of always imagined Jimmy in Houston ever since they tried to trade for him when Chris Paul was there. And it was Eric Gordon and 4 first-round picks, which would have been a massive, crazy thing if they let him go in free agency. So, we're doing this. Miami would be Fred, Tyler, Dylan, Jovic, Claxton. I'm trying to get their first this year and the rest seconds, which this might make it not happen. I'm willing to take away 2 seconds. I'm leaving. If I don't get this first, I'm not doing it. I will say that. I'm definitely not giving up Jaime Jaquez. I will potentially give up. I will give up Kevin. That's not Kevin Love. That's not Kevin Love either. Kevin Love's all the way. Kevin Love's a 77. Because they don't really need Kevin Love. They're getting rid of 3 veterans. I still want all these seconds back, though. Or at least 2. They want Claxton now. No. They want Jaime Jaquez now. Who would they realistically be willing to give up? If I did this, took Chris Paul out. In real life, this trade might not happen. I kind of wanted to be biased and trade Jimmy to the Grizzlies, but I'm willing to do this trade because I feel it benefits Miami a little bit more. And now, and especially because they're getting off the Rozier contract as well. I'll move Rozier to point guard because they might start. Jalen Green at point guard. Probably wouldn't go that well in real life, but this is a video game. They might start somebody else at point guard, but they at least have one in Terry Rozier. Kevin Love, because did they have Jeff Green at power forward? They did. So I'll move Kevin Love back to power forward. They got a lot of veterans here now. They aged overnight. Anything else? No, I keep forgetting that I'm not Houston, that I'm Miami at the moment. Amin probably will come off the bench again, and he probably already is because Jabari's here. So right now, Rozier, Green, Butler, Jabari, Sengun, Amin, Cam Whitmore. They didn't even. I probably should have asked for Cam Whitmore, but I wasn't even thinking. Tari Eason, Kevin Love, Steven Adams. I'm just thinking out loud. So I shouldn't have to look at this team again. Now, going to Miami. Thing one. This is thing one. Thing one, hilariously, is Chris Paul can't wear 3. Thing two is I was going to put that freaking arm sleeve back on Chris Paul because when I see Chris Paul with no accessories, it does slightly bother me. So all the veterans that are over here. This wouldn't be the worst trade. This wouldn't be the worst either. Now, would be a bit hilarious, but it's just like the Suns don't want anything to do with Nurkic. I ain't trying to screw the Heat over that much. Warriors bring back Chris Paul. I feel like I'm asking a bit too much involving Alec Burks. If I just do Jeff Green and Chris Paul. And I keep forgetting about Khalil Ware because he's so low down there. Hey, Memphis, y'all ever call for this deal? I'm going to get very pissed. Don't ever do this. I think we're actually. Oh, if Charles Bassey wasn't involved and I can get somebody else for Charles Bassey, that way San Antonio didn't even have to give up Chris Paul. That initial deal would make me think that's what we're going to do. But Charles Bassey, when the Grizzlies were playing the Spurs the other night, Charles Bassey did very well. So that's why I'm not trying to involve him. See, and then they start doing crap like this. And I'm pretty sure Bassey's a higher freaking value than him. Okay, I'm glad that got done. So Chris Paul never left San Antonio. Y'all know that scene in Men in Black where they do the little thing you blink. So this kind of does make me a little bit happy for them. I should move Stephon Castle back to point guard. That way he could come off the bench, or Chris Paul comes off the bench and they start worrying about their future now. But I'm not. I'm done with them. Now, Tyler Hero's an 88, correct? Okay, he even goes up, putting him back at shooting guard. So they got Fred, Tyler, Dylan, Hayward Highsmith / Jaime Jaquez / Jovic, and Claxton. They have Alec Burks, Zach Collins, Khalil Ware. If I trade Zach Collins, all right, I don't think that Zach Collins on last year. He's actually got one more year left. That's hilarious. And Alec Burks, best player available. Best player available. No, quit freaking showing the Grizzlies here. This wouldn't be the worst trade. Same thing here. I don't think that Sacramento would be too overly wanting to do that, though. You know what? They still got like 2 weeks before the trade deadline, so hopefully they trade them. But at least I got what I wanted. They probably didn't get what they wanted because they probably didn't want to trade Bam, but you know, they accepted that without even me being involved. Now, what is left for us to do? Thing one, let's move Brogdon back to point. Once I get settled, because we're going to do that Heat game, might finish out the rest of this month, I do need to take a bathroom break. I will say that. DiVincenzo back to shooting guard. So I am going to keep Noah Clowney for now. And it's going to be a prove it situation. So right now, we should be what we are. I like this lineup. I like it. D'Lo, DiVincenzo, boom, and boom. All right. So right now we are Brogdon, Vassell, Jaden McDaniels, Zion, Bam, D'Lo, who is a bit funny that they both have number one, so one of them will have to change. It's going to be D'Lo. DiVincenzo, Zaire, Noah Clowney, and Naz Reid. I'm willing to keep these guys on the roster now, but because the next episode I plan on doing before the trade deadline, we might make some more trade deadline related moves. So right now, I'm going to go take a bathroom break. And when we come back, we'll finish out the month of January. And then that'll probably be the end of the video. But we're definitely playing the Miami Heat game because we just spent so much time dealing with that. So, quick bathroom break. And I'm cutting my heater back on. Holy balls, already an hour in. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. I hope this is it's still working, but I just gave you a loud noise. I'll say that I put my hoodie back on, and I recently washed this hoodie. It is extremely tight now, so that's not the best thing, but it's doable. All right. I have lowered the volume for gameplay purposes. So let me double check. So gameplay. I think I could still fix this during the game if it's bothering, but that's hilarious. They wanted to do a trade back. A bit funny, not hilarious. Thank you, Miami, again, for doing that trade, and thank you for bringing back the Vice jerseys, because I love these jerseys so much. Even I would say that the black version and the pink version is the best, but this is the original one, so that's why. And maybe every year they bring a different version of it back. Don't bring that mixture one. That mixture one was not it. So they're using the lineup that I suggested. This is going to be our first time using this lineup as I pushed the wrong button. This is going to be a long episode because I just already saw that we're an hour in. We haven't even played a game yet. And I'll admit, it has been a while since I've used Zion. As immediately song started playing. I should have just started la 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 la, but I didn't. Now, this might be our thumbnail. This would actually be a nice thumbnail. Oh yeah, this would be a great thumbnail. I probably should have changed Clax's number, but this should be a good thumbnail. Alright. Settings. PA, sound effects. I'm just going to cut off. Crowd is okay. Player chatter is okay. Because I still hear what I didn't want to hear. Commentary is at 5. Is it PA? PA was the issue because it starts doing that clapping noise. I don't know if it'll get copyrighted or not. So I didn't want to do completely different NBA right here. And if the commentators say anything interesting, I'll let y'all know because y'all probably cannot hear them at all. So I will say, again, this is the rough draft version of the team that I had constructed. And what's good is we did not give up many picks. We only gave up picks for Zion and one for Bam. And I think we give up one for Vassell maybe? I've already forgot. That's a good thing. But we still got at least two. Oh, we got one back. That Detroit pick in one of the trades. So, I will say there's a bit of interest in me going after De'Aaron. Okay. Class is taking this personal, which he probably should. There's a bit of interest in me going after Fox to reunite with Bam. And this is just me talking now a little bit behind the scenes, peeking the curtain back. Point guard and center is like the most loaded positions in the league right now, mainly point guard. And like I said, I wanted somebody who can get the other guys the ball and when needed can put a shot up, which is a bit fitting because he's the only person that scored on our team yet. So that's why we didn't go overboard with point guard. We probably could have and still might because we got time before the trade deadline. but probably not because Brogdon was my initial choice. I at least want to ride out for the rest of this year with him, so we'll see what happens there. This Bam is getting done up by Dylan Brooks. This is also the first time this lineup's out here, so there should be some rust. And same thing for them as well, which, yeah, same thing for them as well. Because I was going to say, they might have played the game before. I don't think they couldn't have because they already simulated that far. Just trying to make excuses for us. As Brooks cuts through. I wish he would have stayed in the corner. Couldn't get that to go down. I will say, jump shot wise, every year I regress. I do worse. And this year I have struggled a lot jump shot wise. Unless I'm like a 3-point sniper. So that's why when I saw Duncan Robinson when it was initially in that trade, I was like, I will take Duncan Robinson. Because I could hit shots with him. I will also, I've probably said in this video, I will also say a dozen times already. But I was going back and forth on like what team I wanted to use. And the main thing with the Nets is like, I'm not too overly committed to any of these guys. When I initially was talking about being the Nets, I was a bit more committed to Claxton and Cam Thomas. But seeing what I was able to get for them, I think I made the right decision. With the Kings, like I said, I was going to do the same thing and get a lot more back because you're trading away 2 All-Stars in Sabonis and Fox, 3. What am I trying to base this off of? I think DeMar's probably been an All-Star. When was he an All-Star last? I don't think he was one last year. I think he was the one the year before. And deadass, he might have been one last year, and I already forgot. But 3 former All-Stars. Keegan Murray, I might have kept and built around. But point being, I would have got a lot more value out of trading from that team than this team. Which I'm glad that pump worked because I was trying to pass to Bam. What was the other team? The other team I was thinking about was Miami, but I had already seen a lot of people used the Heat on 2K25, which granted, people have used the Nets as well. And when I did my fantasy rebuild series, so like the draft, I used Miami. And this was pre-Vice jerseys even being in the game. Also, I got the first pick in that, so I like to acknowledge when I do these what pick I get, because a lot of times I get in the bottom half. I got the first pick, and I did draft Wemby. So my Miami Heat fantasy team is James Harden, Buddy Hield, Cam Johnson, Wemby, and Jared Allen. So this is before the beginning of the year where Jared Allen hadn't really gone off yet. And then off the bench, I had Reed Shepherd, Duncan Robinson, Sam Hauser, Ben Simmons, and Brook Lopez. So that was year 1, and we did win the title. Now we're in year 2, where, again, money doesn't really mean as much. So year 2's team is James Harden, Buddy Hield, OG Anunoby, Wemby, and Jared Allen. Off the bench is Reed Shepherd, Malik Beasley, Cam Johnson, Obi Toppin, and Nikola Vucevic. So there might be. I think if I start doing some shooting the breeze episode, because I've taken a break from shooting the breeze from a standpoint of the NFL season's done. My Packers lost, obviously, so I don't really mess with the NFL right now. Taking a little bit of a break from shooting the breeze. But if I do a shooting the breeze, I'll probably use that team since I've already talked them up. But just know we're in year 2. Because I ain't really messed with my team that much this year. So bring in DiVincenzo first. I can't tell if that says a 60, I would imagine it's a 65. A 65 stamina for Zion, and yeah, Zion's. Oh boy, we're going to have to pay attention to that in the future. I know what I need to do, but I got to play defense first. So I will say the thumbnail I've already got planned for this video will be that Bam and Claxton tip-off because the Jersey matchup is elite and it plays in to the series. The next episode, because like I said, I'm going to finish out January. The big game of the next episode will be that Rockets matchup because that's when we play against Jimmy and the new-look Rockets. And then I will say it's like the trade deadline special. Put Zion in the thumbnail there. Boom, bam. So I want to keep. I did also. This is good. I need to look at contract extensions and see who's willing to stay, who's willing not to stay. Because I'm pretty sure Zaire would, but he's asking for like 15 mil. I need to see what else we're doing in the offseason before I commit that much to him. So hopefully everybody's enjoyed the video thus far. It's a loaded first episode, but kind of needed to be. Also, with being the Nets, I didn't want to keep Claxton, and I've made a rule that this would probably matter in the future. Not this much this year. It still matters a little bit, but mainly for in the future. Shout out Zaire. I'm not going to keep going after the same players. So anybody that I had on that Grizzlies team last year, so that's where like Claxton would have been gone. If I was being the Nets, Claxton would have been gone regardless. So Claxton couldn't have stayed, and I can't go after Dorian Finney-Smith or any of the current Grizzlies players, which, to be honest, I like my Grizzlies team so much that I probably wouldn't have went after any of them anyways. But this also helps because I gave up Zaire last year in that trade package to get Claxton and Dorian Finney. So now we're getting a little bit of redemption there with him. As we have left the best player wide open. Claxton would have got that rebound. I would have been a bit upset. I will also say one of the main reasons I wanted to go after... The main reason I want to go after Bam was defensively. I feel that he would help us out against the other East teams, and he carries his own offensively. And where Naz Reid offensively, I feel, could do the same defensively. Bit of a question mark. As you're obviously trying to space the floor around Zion, which the Pelicans have tried to do his whole career, but it hasn't. You can't really say it's worked out because when it matters most and when you really test it, he hasn't been there. So Brogdon has done well. Brogdon is our best player this game thus far. So he heard me saying I might go after De'Aaron Fox. Daniels done well defensively. Except for that part where he left somebody wide open. I've already forgot who. That hurt. That one really hurt. But I went at such a wrong angle. And shout out Jody Fernandez because I gave you. I'm pretty sure that's the coach's name. I gave you a good team again because you had one at the beginning of the year and you done very well. And then they got rid of all the good. They got rid of Schroeder and Dorian Finney and started saying all the other players were hurt. I'm sorry to DiVincenzo because he keeps getting traded every year. Let's see. Milwaukee traded him to Sacramento. Then he signed with Golden State. Then he signed to New York. And then he got traded to Minnesota. So, Milwaukee, Sacramento. I should have been counting them initially. Milwaukee, Sacramento, Golden State, New York, Minnesota. This is a 6-team. I should have gave the ball up earlier, but I thought I was going in for a dunk. So we have a tied game before half. I will also say this what makes me very happy, a little bit happy, very a bit strong. If y'all remember my Seattle Supersonics series, which I specifically wanted to do the 2007-2008 season because I wanted rookie KD. I didn't have to, but what made it easier is if I downloaded a save that had that. And I did that. But anytime I freaking filmed and played a game, it wouldn't save, and I had to back out, and I had to do that the whole time. I never figured it out. Now we shouldn't have that same problem. We do. I set myself up, but this isn't a save. This is a start today. So we're gonna simcast till about 5 minutes left. We're up, but I want to play with the bench, so this is the first time around. So we're gonna put the bench in. So D'Lo, call timeout because they almost screwed me over there. But it looks like we're gonna get a win in our first time, and I might have screwed over the Heat because I did take their 2 best players, obviously. 2 of their best players because Tyler. You can make an argument for Tyler this year because Tyler probably is their best player this year. All right, Nas, D'Lo. Who's this? It's supposed to be DiVincenzo. Conley. We're going to leave in Nas Reed for now and then put Trent Wofford in with the next whistle. So let's see some of these numbers. All right, the little scoreboard thing's not work. Oh, there it is. D'Lo's got 8 assists off the bench. Didn't even play at all the first. I feel like Miami Heat fans are probably more mad at me than Nets fans would be. But I don't know if and when a Jimmy trade is going to happen. Again, I made a whole video talking about it and why he should have just, if the rumor of him stopping a Grizzlies trade from happening, he should just let it happen. But time will tell. Time will tell. And he even said that himself. Or he said the truth will come out. That's kind of similar to what I said. We had a 3 with Zaire. Let's go play another game. This one seems good. Zion scoring 22 points throughout the rest of this game. I don't even know the beginning part of the fourth. He kind of stat padded. Do you really say he stat padded? Because he mainly scored before we had checked back in. Where is Bam? This was not the best revenge game, but very close to a triple-double. Would like to see the block numbers get up a little bit. As we're going to play the Kings game and simcast the Hornets one. And then next time we're here, we'll play that Rockets game and be back. Okay, that's not good. Our first injury. So no, where is... Did I give up Jalen Wilson? That is a bit funny. Is it? Not really. Who do I want to give the minutes to? I already picked Josh. I don't really trust Josh Richardson. I don't really trust. Keon Johnson. Can get 15 minutes. Yeah, we definitely making a trade next video. Let's go. Let's go ahead and see what some of their value is. I'm not gonna make the trade, but I just want to see value. Josh Richardson. Keon Johnson. Derek Whitehead. I know he played at Duke. As I'm now all out of Sprite. Which I don't have to worry about me taking another bathroom break. Tyus. Don't really... Nikhil. Bring back Daron Sharp. We got these first still. Caleb Martin. Getting a second. And then I could sign somebody. Nick Richards, who literally just got to Phoenix. Almost said Houston because they were the team before. Keon Ellis. I haven't given up a first for Keon Ellis. Cody Martin. All right, we'll wait it out. We'll wait it out. I can study in the meantime. So playing against Sacramento. DeMar is out for them. I'm not going to help them out. Change their lineup. All right, this jersey matchup that I'm about to do might mess with your eyes and or my eyes, but I'm going to give them the purple jerseys, and we're going to go in our black statement. Screw it. We'll just go with the white. I ain't trying to risk anything. Go with the white jerseys, black socks. All right, I'm going to have to figure out what this... That it did it back-to-back times. I don't think it did it at all last year. With the little... Oh, Jay Crowder, he got no accessories. Bothers the hell out of me. What Chris Paul... there's certain play... All right, this is a bit of a rant about 2K. There's certain players that don't have shoes. They give them 2K generics. And it's mainly rookies. I will say it's mainly rookies. And so with the Grizzlies, they have two very good rookies in Jalen Wells and Zach Edey. So for my Grizzlies save, I went out of my way to give them their own shoes. And even the shoes that they wear in real life, I Googled it and everything. Gigi Jackson, who played last year, they still have him 2K generics. Which what is crazier about it, as I'm making myself look bad, what was crazier about it is at least with Jalen Wells... Oh, my. They're going fast. With Jalen Wells and Edey, their 2K generics were, team branded and, match the colors of our jerseys. With GG, they just gave him the gray, plain 2K. It really bothered the hell out of me. And it bothers me when they don't give their players their accessories. Jay Crowder always has on sleeves, has knee pads. I think, and it's just a theory, I think that the reason that they do that is if they go out of their way to put their tattoos in the game, and they are not a notable player like LeBron, who most of the time, I'm pretty sure LeBron for the longest time has had a sleeve on. But if they go out of their way to put your tattoos in the game, they're going to showcase them. It's very similar in wrestling. This is wrestling figure talk here. And there's one instance in particular. There is a Malachi Black / Aleister Black, who might soon be Aleister Black again, according to the rumor mill. But there is a figure of his where they did not give him his wrist tape And the maker went out of their way to say, yes, because we put so much detail into the tattoos that we didn't want to cover it up. So if you want to cover it up, you can. And it's very similar to 2K. If you want to put sleeves on Jay Crowder, go ahead. We're not stopping you. But it's just them being a little bit too lazy and not doing it themselves, which I, again, understand because in the case of the tattoos, they have to, like, pay to have some of them in because of the license and whatnot, and like they go out of their way to put the detail into the tattoo, more detail into the tattoos than the sleeves. So I understand that, but it's just that I constantly keep having to do it and forget about it. Which with Jay Crowder, you know, most of the time you're not really seeing him play. He's having to play because DeMar's hurt. So shut up, McDaniels, right there getting the steal. We get the ball to Bam. Oh, yeah. Teammate on teammate. Potential future teammate on future teammate. I won't lie to y'all. I can't even hear the commentary at all. I have it at a 5. I left key getting way too open. That's on me. That's on me. Bit of a brain fart. The Warriors have traded. All right, we'll look at the trades after it because they traded away Schroeder. No clue what they would have got back. Derrick Jones Jr. got traded. Complete. There we go. Why did Crowder have to be there? Because we could have got a good highlight. Now we're just going to get a freaking miss because he's cheats. Alright, this is not going to help us. Bro, time out. They trade away Chris Paul for, again, McDaniels is going off defensively. We got so much going on. Trades, blocks. Everybody's tired. A 3. We'll have to look at the trades because we just saw 2 notable ones. 2 notable players get traded. I don't even know what they got traded for. Very close layup going in. Corner 3 that goes in. Excellent release as well. One of the main reasons I wanted Vassell. As they call a timeout. We'll see how long this video is exactly. 1 hour 20 at the moment. OG is out for 6 to 8 weeks. Zod at a 79 stamina. I think Zaire was out for 1 to 2. So, I will say that a lot of times they come back a week earlier. Jimmy expects to play against the Nets. As I did forget that Jimmy, before we traded him, was hurt. And is already back hurt. Back hurt. Not his back hurts. It might from carrying that Heat team for so long. It's a joke. Why that? I ain't gonna lie. I expected that to be a layup. A little bit too far out. Thank you, Bam. Can we get a Zion dunk? Can we get a Zion highlight? We didn't get Zion points. Not really a highlight. It is a flex, though. It is a flex, though. Okay. Didn't get there in time. Zaire still could play, but is that smart? We're going to bring in DiVincenzo. Put Vassell there. And McDaniels. At power forward. That could have went in. I didn't even push a button for that to happen. I also don't really want Zion on Monk. Because I don't think he can keep up. Zion is fast on the fast break. And then when it gets to the time to get the highlight off, or a dunk, he's already used up all his energy. Y'all remember Miami Heat, Jay Crowder? Because it did not last long. Any trade, let's think about that, because that trade happened right before the pandemic and then the bubble. I'm trying to think of like other players that got traded at that deadline that was not on their team that long, because like he came to mind instantly. Solomon Hill was also in that trade. I thought that trade was going to do well for my Grizzlies because we got back Justice Winslow, who played, I believe, 26 games for the Grizzlies, and I only know that because it got tweeted the other day. Because there's a Grizzlies fan page that's not happy that Marcus Smart has not came back, and so they compared him between him and Chandler Parsons, which again, the numbers might be as close, but is very similar. Zion is doing well this game, as they had to call a timeout. But I'm interested to bring the beast out of Zion. Like, I'm trying to make Zion who he can be, who we thought he could be. I'm trying to bring that Zion here to Brooklyn. And the thing with the Nets is, like I said, in real life, they're probably going to go the rebuilding route. There's a bit of a rumor of them, like, maybe signing a big free agent because there might be one of the only teams with the cap space to do so. But they've went 0-2. Technically, if you want to like get real in depth, you can. But it's just like the KD Kyrie thing could have worked out. Just a lot of non-basketball related stuff got in their way of that. The KG and Paul Pierce did not work out whatsoever and set the team back a lot further than KD and Kyrie. And eventually they did rebuild from it and did do well from it, and they will always have, in my eyes, that 2019 season with D'Lo. But right now they're 0-2. If you want to go technicality, 0-3, if you want to go to the Vince Carter trade, but that's not really where KD Kyrie free agency, if you want to lump Harden into that, you can. Didn't work. KG Paul Pierce didn't work. Darren Williams gets involved in that as well, which, again, didn't work. Vince Carter, you can argue and say it didn't work, but he's getting his jersey retired there, which is a bit... They wanted to do it. If you want to retire someone's jersey, you can. But out of the, like, jersey retirements that are happening, like, soon and in the past, that one's the weirdest one, especially because they announced it before his Raptors one, and I think it was kind of a case of, hey, y'all need to go ahead and retire his jersey, and Toronto didn't want to. The rumor is that Toronto didn't want to do it because they wanted Lowry to be their first retired jersey, which I understand that. But it's also a case of, we ain't got all day for this, so let's go ahead and get it done when you can. So I'm going to do it too foul heavy here. I'm trying to think. And then I'm not even really going to talk about like the 90s era for them. I will say this. This is the best place for me to say it. 2K23. And I've talked about this a lot last year. I did a series pre-making YouTube videos. And it was 20-year Orlando Magic with the 03 team, so pre-LeBron draft. But T-Mac, Grant Hill, such a fun... That would have made such a great video series. I will admit that, because I had a lot of great moments there. I'm only saying we, because I kind of think y'all were there, which y'all weren't. Regardless, I went back a bit further and into the 90s in the Jordan era and did one with the Nets. Now, it did not last 20 years. Hell, it didn't even last 5 years. But that first, we had Drazen Petrovic. Now, I'm mainly talking from a team perspective now. That's why I keep saying we. And with y'all, I keep thinking y'all are there as well, which y'all weren't, but that would have gotten in, would have been a little bit upset. We had Drazen Petrovic already, and I tanked heavily the next 2 years. So that first year, we were able to get Alonzo Mourning. That next year, we were able to get Penny Hardaway. One of those years, we were able to sign Dennis Rodman in free agency, and everything that we had left, we traded away to get Glenn Rice. So we were Penny Hardaway, Drazen Petrovic, Glenn Rice, Dennis Rodman, Alonzo Mourning, and I just never finished it to when it mattered. So I appreciate the Nets. I like the Nets, and I feel bad for them because they went all out to get Katie and Kyrie, and like I said, it was mainly non-basketball reasons that like screwed them over that. And I mainly feel bad for their fan base because this is the second time around that this is happening, and they got to listen to Knicks fans talking about, oh, look at our team and whatnot. But it's nothing to lose sleep over. And also, when I started making videos back on YouTube, a lot of them were Nets related because the hot thing in the NBA was the KD trade and talking about how the Nets messed this up and the Nets kept getting brought up, and I loved wearing that. Bothered me. I was like half a second early. I loved wearing that throwback Nets hat that I still wear quite often. So there's always been a bit of a connection with me and the Nets. And not always, as of recent. Will he see Keon Ellis open? Probably not, but he missed his three. We're trying it. And it worked. It worked. Zon's best game is at net. Only 2 games in, though. Those KD Chicago look nice. All right. Let's see what happens here. So I'm going to upload this on MLK Day, so hopefully you are enjoying your day. I got to watch the Grizzlies game a bit earlier because it's on earlier than it normally would be. I don't plan on watching the National Football Title game. Raw does not look as interesting as the last 2 weeks, but I've watched Raw so many times that it'd be weird if I didn't. Especially now, because it's a lot easier to watch Raw on the computer and then the Grizzlies game on the TV, which, like I just said, the Grizzlies game will be on earlier, so Raw will be my main priority tonight. So that's what I want, right there. Contested shots with a rim protector there to send it back, which he didn't really. He tapped it a little. So there's a mismatch somewhere. Let's see if we can get Bam a triple-double. I didn't pump that thing. Probably could have went in. Need one of you to go to him. If the fact that he got it. Ooh. Okay, we will take that. Zion is limping. All right, let's just go for the bucket. Almost stepped out. That is going to go in. Okay, that was definitely a risky shot, but I don't think I could have got the ball off to anybody else on top. So let's see how this goes. I might do a risky thing and take Zion off the court because he ain't got a lot of energy and bring in DiVincenzo for this possession. So. That's hilarious. Oh. Okay. They also don't have any timeouts. So I'm going to do the risky thing. I hope that goes in. It doesn't. All right. We win by 3. Close game. Good game. Future net. De'Aaron Fox? Question mark. Time will tell. Because this is now loud as hell in my ear. This happens way too much. Zion. We could have had dual player of the game. I will say that. So Zion had a double-double. Bam had a double-double. Still no blocks. Keon Johnson stepped up because Zaire couldn't play. I do have to pee again, so I'm just going to go ahead and simulate that Hornets game. And the next time you see us will be February the 1st. I'll adjust it now while I'm thinking of it. Brogdon, Vassell, McDaniel, Zion, Bam, D'Lo, DiVincenzo, Zaire, Clowney, and Reed. So look at this transaction report. So Santi's staying with the Grizz. Bobby's staying with the Bucks. Schroeder got traded for Derrick Jones Jr. So the Chris Paul trade was the one that we did. So I was like, did they trade him again? No. Then Seth Curry got traded for Colby Jones. So that's actually 2 rotational players the Kings got here. Derrick Jones Jr., he's had a good year for the Clippers. Don't really know how he fits with the Warriors. And the Clippers don't really need another guard because they have Bones Highland, Chris Dunn, and Harden, and Norman Powell. So if they got rid of Chris Dunn and brought in like an extra forward, I can kind of understand it, but nothing too much to worry about. So the next time you see me, I don't know. I hope you did watch and enjoy all of it. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I will see you down the road because, like I said, I got to go to the bathroom again. So I do appreciate y'all watching this again. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Stay safe. I'll see you the next one because I'm out because I almost hit the wrong button. Stop streaming.